All right, I'm welcome back for the episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Thursday, July 20th, 2023. If you're not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts and analysis. Anyways, let's get into it today. So doing the video a little bit on the early side. We are doing the members live stream at 4:05 Eastern Standard Time, as always on Thursdays. But we have a little bit of a sell-off on our hands. I don't know if you guys caught the short video I did this morning around 10 a.m. I said, don't buy this dip here. They're probably going to push it lower. And, I did scalp the open for what that's worth, but I was out pretty quickly. And they did push it lower. So the Gamma Boys getting through 45.50. That was a level I gave out to you guys earlier this morning. And now it looks like we're going to be probably pinned to about 45.30, which is basically where we are right now. Maybe a little bit lower. We'll see if that gets blown out as well. So bear is showing up just a little bit here. There's a lot going on, right? Tesla down now 10% here on the day. Netflix, that is down, I want to say 6-7%. Netflix, now 9% there on Netflix. That is off the lows too. So technology getting a hit. TSM down 5.5%. So markets here led to the downside by tech. So you see the triple Qs there down 2.5. I'm going to say it. It's OPEX week. Let's take it with a grain of salt here, but I have a sell signal on technology. One sell signal on technology specifically. That could mean for the whole market as well. We'll have to see a lot more. It is OPEX week. Monday could come around and we resume light volume. We've got a lot going on next week. More big tech earnings, FOMC. So there's going to be some whipsaw. There's going to be some, fundamental changes moving around in the market. But right now, I do have a sell signal. I'll be talking about that at 4:05 with members here, and we'll continue to watch moving forward. Another thing that's interesting, at about 2:20 p.m., VIXI, huge bid, 40 cents in 10 minutes, and that is right about there. So we didn't, the spiders didn't move down a lot. But we know there's a lot of vol selling going on here. And what happens when you get these mania phases, people get very leveraged. It's like we didn't learn from 2021. They get very leveraged. So you have one day where you're down 0.5%. And you can see here, we're down 0.5% right there on that little tick. Maybe somebody had to panic hedge because, they were getting, over leveraged. So they had to hedge that position. That's certainly possible because it's not like we saw anything hit the wire. You look at the Russell, that recovered pretty quickly. The Dow is still green on the day, so it's not like there was some blanket incident that happened. Something hit the wire where volatility is just taking off to the upside. So be careful here. Like I said, I do have a sell signal here. It's a good one too. Again, I want to take it with a grain of salt. I want to see a lot more. And volatility is just being heavily shorted. So these things can kind of unwind very quickly. I do think we're getting closer to a little bit of an environment where the market could see some downside. We did hit, that that fake print level at 453 and change. We hit that over the last couple of days. And, the SPX, again, we're kind of getting lofty here. I mean, especially the Qs, up 6% in 8 days, I think it was, and now coming back in. So watch these trend lines here. Again, we flip back over to the SPX, 20 moving average coinciding with this trend line here. Wouldn't surprise me tomorrow to see us close right at 4,500. Again, I talked about that at the beginning of the week. I said it would likely be a level of interest, a magnet perhaps. Monday we pushed up to 45.50, actually higher than that, 45.75. And now it looks like we might be poised to close right back into this area. So we'll be watching that. And it's going to be very interesting, right? Because if let's just say hypothetically, tomorrow we go down, we test this trend line, then we close with a little bit of a tail, close right at 45. We're going to be sitting right on this trend line and right on 4,500, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday into the Fed. So that'll be interesting to see how that trend line kind of plays out here. And again, if we do break that, right down there's your 50 moving average. It can't get any easier than that, right? So you got your levels cut right out for you. You could even make a case that we're upsloping here, which we are. So 4,400, nice whole round number. That could be a point of interest there. If we do continue lower triple Qs, again, same thing. We're very close to that 20 MA and that very steep trend line. You have to think that at some point this will break to the downside. It's just so steep here. But either way, Q's coming back in. We hit that 390 level essentially, basically 388 yesterday, and now coming back in. And then again, There's your 50 MA, 360 area, kind of a round number there, and then there's that trend line. So levels are very clear, and I've been pointing them out every day there. Obviously, they haven't changed, but interesting little price action here in the market. So nice little dump. We'll see if it's just OPEX related. We are seeing a little bit of volume pickup, though, 55 million shares on the Qs, less so on the spider. So that is a little bit of, that's kind of your, it lessens the sell signal, I suppose, at least on the spiders. Just 50 million shares there. So that's basically the same as yesterday. But a nice little dump here. And I mean, markets are just getting ridiculously stretched. I mean, we've been talking about the RSI on the NQ, like the 70 level was support. I mean, when you see stuff like this, and I mean, people were just getting ridiculous. Those Tesla calls, 300, just poor risk management, the FOMO, NVIDIA, Netflix. But again, look at the 70 level being support there on the Qs. Like obviously that was a joke, but you see, and now we're actually starting to get 4-hour oversold, so it may get a little bit of bounce here. But either way, nice little dump here on the markets. We'll see what we get tomorrow. IWM holding up okay, down 1% on the day. Very curious to see how this ends the week. If we do continue lower, 191.74 is a point of interest, obviously, so that has not changed. You are still a little extended from that 20 moving average, so that may need to come back in. But Russell actually holding up all right today, down 1%. The Dow, the strongest of the four here, up 0.5%. Again, UNH, another big day. And Bank of America, or not Bank of America, JPM up 1.25. That's going to help the Dow. Goldman up again as well. That's also going to help the Dow. So those three stocks definitely giving the Dow a little bit of a facelift there. That can still get to 353, 355, which I think we did actually tag that today. So that may need to do some stalling out here, but Dow obviously the strongest. What is there a lot to make out of it? Well, blue chips rallying, maybe risk off, maybe a rotation to banks out of tech. We do know the rebalancing is going to be Monday. I think they're running tech up into that, and we could see some profit taking there. That's certainly not out of the question at all. All right, semiconductors, very soft on the day, down 4%. Good volume behind that. We're testing this trend line here and the 20 moving average finally. So we'll see how that shakes out. TSM reported today, and this is, you can't make this up. Their CEO talked about AI, and he said, really the AI demand's not there right now. He did say that he expects it to grow very, exponentially in the future, but you're seeing stocks like NVIDIA take a hit here today. Microsoft is down. These are the, Apple, these are the stocks that recently have, benefited from mentioning, we all know that the AI spam and the conference calls and the press releases. And it's funny to see the CEO of TSM say that. It's almost as if somebody could have predicted that AI isn't going to immediately affect earnings and make NVIDIA justifiable at $1.1 trillion at a 225 PE. But in any case, that getting hit here, leading the SMH lower. We'll watch how that reacts to this trend line, and then the 150 level there on the SMH. IGV also following to the downside. We talked about how lofty that one was. Again, piercing that little pivot high and coming back in. If it starts to correct lower, you got a trend line all the way down here, upsloping. Currently, it's sitting right around 330. So that could be a level of interest. Quite a bit of ways away for right now. But we'll see how that shakes out. But for right now, just a one-day dump on the IGV. Dow Transports inside day, nothing terrible here. Down just 14 cents, I believe. Did we have a CSX, I think? I think we had a few reporting. I'm not sure if I think they're after the bell. But either way, transports here inside day, no problems right now. That's actually holding up. And, that can still get to 16.5. Okay, interest rates. If I can get my chart, there we go. 2-year here, that did push up again, and again tested that 20 moving average. Bonds are coming off the lows though, so no, doesn't look like we closed above that 20 moving average just yet. Basically hanging right there, but again, yields holding up really well. 5-year getting a pop there, same kind of look. 10-year pop as well, and the 30-year reversing yesterday's losses. So again, yields holding up. I'm not bearish yields, and I won't be for a very long time here. Even if they do sell a little bit, I don't expect them to go that much lower. XHB closed the market because XHB is down 2% here. DR Horton, gap and crap day, although it did come nicely off the 20 moving average. But XHB committing a chart crime by being red. Just wiped out about 5 days worth of gains in one. It is a little bit off the lows here, but intraday, seeing it kind of move down and bear flag. So that could have a little bit more downside tomorrow, potentially maybe into that 80-50 area. There's your 20-day moving average. You've got a gap fill right there, and then there's your previous pivot high. So XHB finally getting interesting. I know I've blown through it every day last couple of days because it's just chugging higher relentlessly, but now we actually have something to talk about. You see the ITB, same thing, pretty good reversal there, wiping out about almost 6 days worth of gains there, hitting that pivot high. So home builders coming in a little bit, maybe seeing finally some distribution, good volume there on the ITB as well. They're just getting really lofty, and we'll continue to monitor those. VNQ coming in as well, down 62 basis points, but this is not a bad pattern. I think the REITs are actually looking a little bit better here. We got above 84, kind of essentially back checked it. Let's see, this might get one more little pop here. But if you get through that trend line, I don't really see much resistance up till 90. So VNQ in a decent spot here. And XLF, again, continues to chug higher. So 35.50 is probably your next real level. XLF holding up okay, led by JPM. KRE still hanging in there, inside day there. I don't see any problems. KBE, same thing. So again, maybe a little bit of a rotation here for out of tech into financials for the market, and broker dealers here testing the all-time high, very close to it. But that probably gets pierced at some point, maybe even tomorrow, before you pull back. But this is getting very stretched, very overextended. You're up 100 points in 2 months here. You're up 50 points in 2 weeks. So very, very extended there on the broker dealers, but they're holding up right now. Crude here, speaking of holding up, looks okay. We went into a lot of resistance here, and this is hanging in there. If this consolidates, this can push through that, and then it's going to go to 82. That's not good for the market. It's not good for the economy. Right now, it's hanging in there, and we'll reevaluate it if and when we get through there, or if the pattern matures. XLE also strong on the day. So energy holding up really well. XOP testing 135 again. Again, if that pushes up, you're looking at 140, maybe even into this trend line kind of nexus. Right there, crisscross. X marks the spot. So XOP holding up. OIH backing off. It needs to consolidate. It needs to pull back, but I like it. I am not bearish. Oil services. And Nat Gas, one of the stars of the day, up 5.5%. Big move there. We talked about this just yesterday in the extra video. Good volume behind today's pop. Looks like it's poised for a $3 test here. Not in the not too distant future, maybe even as early as next week. Dollar index reclaiming 100. Interesting, right? So we're going to get above this red bar. So that is a positive here for the dollar. We'll watch this. We talked about a back test of possibly 102 or the 20 moving average. We'll just continue to watch it moving forward and see how it reacts there. But a little bit of a sign of strength here in the short term, being able to get above that 161 area, which was that breakdown bar. So back above the 100 handle, and we'll continue to watch the DXY here and see what it does. But again, we're watching that 20 moving average there on the daily. Gold here backing off as you'd expect. No problems though. If this flags, this can have one more push up. Not really sure what it wants to do here, but you are coming into some resistance. But right now you've got a little daily inside bar. And on the weekly, still kind of just struggling with that 20 moving average. That's going to be interesting to watch going into the end of the week if they can reclaim that or not. Will probably tell us bias going into next week. And then silver also backing off a little bit. We'll see. Maybe that wants to get into those moving averages. You got 1, 2, 3 of them right in the same areas, right around 24. Could be an area to target there on silver for a retrace. We'll watch that one. And the platinum backing off as well, finding a little bit of support at 960. We'll see how that one trades into tomorrow. I'm not doing anything with it. Palladium also backing off as well. Not doing anything with that yet. And copper, a little bit of a pop and then really faded all day long. 100 moving average held, and we kind of just backed off. We're just kind of in this range here. If you get down to 370 and lose that, I don't expect this pivot low to have much support. I do think it goes to 340, so that has not really changed there. Then lastly, Bitcoin, a little bit of a fade there, kind of back below that 20 moving average on the daily, but again, weekly still looks fine. This actually looks like a really good pattern. It might need a little bit more time, but I honestly can't see any issues right now until proven otherwise on BTC. All right, lastly, over to the spiders again really quick. So again, we're just hanging out here. Getting a little bit of a pop towards the end of the day. I want to see the SPX. So 45.34. That looks like right where we're going to be about to close. So 45.30, 45.34, somewhere in that range, which is basically where we are right now. So nice little push down. Again, be careful. No one's fearful. The trend is vertical. Volatility is being sold like crazy, and no one thinks the market can go down. So just be careful in this environment. If you're long, trail your stop. Don't let the market go against you. But we'll watch those levels, 4,500 and that trend line going into tomorrow. And then, of course, FOMC next week and some more big tech earnings. Anyways, guys, going to wrap it up here. You guys take care. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com. Talk to you all tomorrow.